Welcome, everybody. This is the Reaper with Crusade Cast. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, who's going to make this health journey and weight loss journey happen. His name's Omar. We're actually very privileged to have him here. He's a professional trainer, and he's going to go over with us the procedures that he does, that he takes people through due to weight loss, taking weight loss, BMI, taking the weight, the BMI, and then coming up with the plan. Also, he's going to be talking with us about diet as well. It's a very big deal when it comes to losing weight or working out in general. And he's going to kind of break things down for us so that way we know what to expect, because, the weight loss journey, it doesn't mean you're going to be losing 30, 40 pounds a month. It's a steady, consistent, and it's a life change. So, and it's something that you really need to understand. So I wanted to make sure I brought him here. Omar, do you mind taking us through the process of what you do with people when they first come to see you?
Yeah, sure. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
And allowing me this opportunity to speak to the public and share our journey step by step. So, very quickly, what we usually do in the beginning, what I like to do, I like to get with the person in question, which is my friend here, Ben, and we speak. We speak very quickly about what his goals are, what his expectations are, and I let him know what are realistic expectations and what to really expect in the journey and during the journey. So before we even begin, I have to ask him a couple questions, just make sure he doesn't have any pre-existing conditions, whether it's past injuries or current injuries, whether it's a torn rotator cuff, maybe it's an L5 lower lumbar issue with the disc, bulging disc, herniated disc, any sciatic nerve, or anything like that. So if he does have any type of impingement or any type of hindrance that will kind of slow down the program, or I don't want to call it slow down the program because that's not what it does. It just allows me, it gives me as much information as possible to let me know what we can and can't do to ensure that we address whatever issue that he may be having, whether it's a weak rotator cuff issue, we'll rehab that. But at the same time, we'll also address other issues as far as going full blast with the legs or other body parts or muscle groups that aren't impacted or affected by said injury. So the first thing is we got to do a baseline. We have to get his measurements, his weight, his height. We have to get his BMI, body mass index, and that pretty much just gives us a starting point. But with that aside, what I really like to get into is I like to do an assessment of him to see what the body fat is. His body fat is percentage-wise, and that's all I really focus on, the body fat and BMR, which is a basal metabolic rate, or just your resting rate, how many calories you burn while you're just at rest. Now, what that lets me know is how many calories you can take and consume in a day, and that's with no activity, how many calories you burn just sitting at rest. So when I checked his in the beginning, his moderate BMR was 2,700 calories a day. So anywhere between 2,700 to 3,100 calories a day, that's where he falls, where he lies in between. As far as the specific number, because even though you have the resting rate, you also have the activity. So bear with me 1 second. So just based on his height and weight, sedentary lifestyle, estimated calories is just 3,000. Lightly active, 3,450. If he's moderately active, that's 3,850. That's how many calories he burns in a day. If he's a very active individual, it'll be 4,300 calories. So in order to lose weight, we want to make sure that we come below those caloric intake that, the calories that I just mentioned. If we want to gain weight, then of course we'll consume to make sure that we work out. And when we work out, we're going to use the largest muscle groups, the exercise that kind of burn the most amount of, be the best bang for the buck. In other words, we use exercises that burn the most calories and also contribute to building muscle mass. The more muscle mass we build, the more calories you'll burn at rest. So, relatively speaking, if he doesn't do anything with his diet, if he doesn't change his diet at all, but if we increase at least 1 pound of muscle every month, he will continue to burn fat and he'll lose weight and he'll be at a deficit and get to his target goal. But to make sure that we get to his target goal quicker, we're going to do both. We're going to modify his diet. We're going to restrict his diet, kind of see what he's eating, sit down and kind of go through it, go over the macro and micros as far as what his carb intake is, his protein intake, is fiber intake. All those things are very important. Is sugar intake as well. And we kind of go through those numbers and see what he's consuming on a daily basis. We'll make moderate to minor corrections and adjustments step by step. Rome wasn't built in a day. Great Wall of China wasn't built in a day. So there's no need to do any crash diets. Crash diets and extreme diets, they're not sustainable. In order to, I don't even like the word diet, in order to modify his daily intake of what he consumes on a regular basis, we make minor modifications. It may be something as simple as if he drinks coffee every day, going from 4 scoops of sugar to just 2 scoops of sugar. Little minor modifications that's doable to eventually he's drinking coffee black. Matter of fact, maybe not drinking any coffee at all, but that's based on his decision of what he wants to do and how aggressively he wants to attack this conditioning. I don't want to call it weight loss because I'm not really fixated on weight loss. I'm all about performance and agility and also just quality of life. One thing that, I spoke to him about prior, is we can't fixate on the numbers as far as losing weight. The only numbers we fixate on is his metrics, which is body fat percentage, his muscle mass percentage, and the numbers as far as the data, as far as the exercise that we're doing. If he's benching 135 pounds today, and then within a month he's benching 185 pounds, that's the numbers that we look for. That lets me know that, we have some type of growth, we have muscle growth, we have endurance, we have performance attributes that we need. Now, I had another client where she actually was concerned because she looked at her numbers. Well, she didn't look at her numbers, she looked at the scale. She got on the scale, and she only lost 5 pounds. And she says, oh my, what am I doing? I only lost 5 pounds. I should have lost more weight than that. I said, well, you know what, let's take a minute and let's see what you actually lost. So we went through the numbers, we checked her body fat, her muscle percentage, and everything like that. So what she did lose 6 pounds of fat, but gained 1 pound of muscle. So that's a positive. And when I asked her about her clothes and everything like that, she did go down a couple sizes. Her pants were looser. So she felt and she realized the body changes, but the scale just told her something different. I told her not to fixate on the numbers. So again, remember, it's not about just getting on the scale and looking at the numbers. It's all about the totality of what those numbers mean. And very quickly, when we talk about the caloric intake, you want to talk about the importance of the calories. So a lot of people, they just fixate on the amount of calories they take in a day, but what type of calories you're taking is more important than the amount of calories you take in. You consume 2,000 calories of protein, and you'll be fine. You won't gain 1 ounce of weight. The only thing you'll retain is just the protein that's needed to rebuild the muscles, because the body doesn't hold on to protein. It just excretes it throughout the rear, and that's it. But as far as if you took 2,000 calories of sugars, you're going to maintain all of that. You're going to hold all of that, and you're going to convert it to fat, and that's going to stay with you. Same thing with vegetables. If you consume 2,000 calories of vegetables, the body doesn't do anything with it. It just takes the fiber, just takes whatever basic nutrients out of it, and it excretes the rest of it out. So it's not just how many calories you consume, it's what type of calories you consume, and the bonus, the time of day you consume those calories. If you consume only 2,000 calories a day, but you consume 1,500 of it or 500 of it right before you go to sleep, you're not giving your body enough time to metabolize it. You're not giving your body enough time to digest it or to use it. So what happens is that excess that you took in right before you go to sleep is not going to be used, and it's going to be stored as fat. And that's something that you don't want. But if you consume those calories, the most important thing is, again, like I said, with timing. You want to consume your biggest meal, your largest meal, around your most busiest time of day, your activity-wise. So you wake up in the morning. If you're not active in the morning, if you're just getting up and going to work and just sitting at your desk, you don't need a big breakfast. You just need something minor, something real light, maybe a banana or a fruit, maybe a piece of toast, coffee, water, something like that. But if you're busy during the day or after work where you go to the gym, that's when you want to consume the most amount of calories, because you want to ingest it, feed the body, and allow your body to consume and use all of the calories without it being stored or transferred into fat. So again, very important. The type of calories you consume is very important, and the time of day we consume those calories. Same scenario, you have two individuals. They work the same 9 to 5. They wake up at the same time, 6 in the morning, and they go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. Same schedule. They both consume 2,000 calories a day. You have one individual where he's breathing around 2 p.m. and he consumes his largest meal of the day at noon, right before that time period. So he gives his body time to ingest the food, digest the food, convert the food to energy, and to use all of the energy that he consumed. He will not gain any weight. He will maintain what he has, or if anything, he might lose weight for being in a deficit. But you have the other individual, same schedule, same everything, but he consumes the bulk of his calories at night, right before he goes to sleep, right before the body slows down, metabolism pretty much comes to a halt. The food that he consumes will not have the opportunity to be used, digested, and it's going to be a slow digestion in the body. And he's going to convert all of that into fat, and that's something that we don't want. That's counterintuitive to the productivity and the progress that we're trying to make. I know I've said quite a few. I'm going to pass over to Ben real quick and just ask if he has any questions or anything he would like me to elaborate on for the good people watching.
Yeah. So I guess the questions that I would have. So it kind of sounds like, as far as the diet is concerned, it sounds like vegetables or proteins are definitely the way to go. What about, because a lot of people will say like pastas are bad, rice is bad. What in particular would you recommend people to stay away from? I mean, is pasta really bad for you? Is rice really bad for you? Does it depend on how it's prepared? What are some of the main things that you would tell people to stay away from?
Well, the biggest thing as far as with the pasta and rice, it's not bad for you. It's actually good for you because you do need carbs to sustain yourself when you have high activity, high activity events. Maybe you're doing yard work and you're going to be out there for a while, or you're going on a 5K run, or just something, or going to the gym to work out. Again, it's not necessarily what you eat, it's the time of day that you eat when it comes to the pasta. Pasta is very good. You also have alternatives. You have whole grain pasta. You have pasta that actually have protein in it. And you have gluten-free pasta. You also have pasta that have a low glycemic index, which doesn't cause your insulin to spike, and it doesn't cause cravings, and it kind of helps sedate you. So that's very good as far as eating. The only thing that happens, and why we say pasta is bad, is not necessarily what we have with the pasta. It's not the pasta itself, but what do we have with the pasta? That's when we add the cheese. That's when we add the pasta sauce, and we add a little extra things to give it extra flavor. And so what we're doing, we're actually pounding on extra calories onto that pasta in itself. Now, you add pasta and just like some type of a light vinegar, not vinegar, but a nice olive oil dressing or something like that, you're good to go. You have nothing to lose. All that's good for you. But it's the extra cheese. I'm not saying a little bit of cheese. You gotta add a little flavor. You have to live a little. I'm not saying that you guys have to go out there and just take your clean out your pantry of anything that's tasty and delicious and get rid of your palate and just live a life of rice cakes and tofu. And I'm not saying that because I wouldn't do that myself. But it's just moderation. Everything's moderation in itself as well.
So it's really more based on the time of day. So you can have some pasta, probably around noon, just like what you were saying.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for breakfast? Like, are you okay with a heavy breakfast and a heavy lunch and then a very light dinner? Do you only recommend really a heavy lunch, light breakfast, and a light dinner? What would you recommend to me, for example?
Well, what I would recommend to you is, again, when we talk about heavy, what's the definition of heavy? Egg whites, eggs are good, that's good protein. You could have ham, bacon, whatever it is that you desire. But again, what time of day are you having the breakfast? Mm-hmm. What does your day look like? I know, I'm not sure you guys know what he does on his off time or at work. I know he's a very busy guy at work. So, you in your situation, which I'm pretty much aware of, big breakfast will not harm you.
Okay.
As long as you stay away from the pancakes, you get like one pancake. You don't need to get a full stack of pancakes with the maple syrup. Those are additional things that kind of take us over the edge. But just, you gotta have your solid protein with your breakfast. A nice serving of fruit, whether it's an apple or orange or just mixed fruit. Blueberries are also great. And toast in itself. There's nothing wrong with toast. nice healthy toast.
So it doesn't sound like it's really bad for the first 2 meals. Obviously, everything in moderation.
That's correct.
But definitely the dinner is really the big one. It's the one that you really want to watch. Now, if you were going to have a dinner, it sounds like maybe just protein, veggies would be it, or is there anything else you'd recommend? Because I know it kind of sounds like protein, and I love my I love my meats, man. I can eat steak, chicken all day long. I can have eggs any time of the day. I mean, would you be okay with an all just protein dinner? Would you recommend getting some vegetables in there? Because it's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, I recommend getting the vegetables in there as well, just to kind of help with your overall the absorption of the good fats and the bad fats and everything. The vegetables itself, it provides roughage that helps clear out your system, and it helps help with digestion as well. So with dinner, you can have protein. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have your vegetables. There's nothing wrong with that. If you do have, carbs, let it be, or starch, let it be potatoes in moderation, and just how you prepare the potatoes as well too. You can have regular potatoes. I don't know how you like to prepare them, but you can have them on a skillet, air fryer, baked potato, mashed potato. Again, what happens is it's not necessarily what we eat, it's what we add to what we eat, kind of like the pasta. Mm-hmm. So, I tell some people like, yeah, you can have a baked potato, but without the cheese, without the salt, without the extra calories, that's what takes us over the edge.
Without the stuff that makes life enjoy it. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. All the pleasurable things. But also the biggest thing is, again, timing. Yeah. When it comes to dinner, your dinner should not be any less than 5 hours before you go to sleep, because it allows your body to digest and allows you to use that energy, consume the energy, and it won't get converted to fat.
Gotcha. So, like, if you're going to bed by 10, you really shouldn't be eating anything after 5.
That's correct.
Okay. Because, like, for me, I usually go to bed around midnight, so I can eat something in the 6s as long as it's done by 7.
That's correct. And I'll give you one hack. There's one hack and one free pointer. If you do find yourself eating something late at night, and if, depends on where you live, and if you're able to, you can just go for a walk after dinner. If you can't go for a walk after dinner, before you go to sleep, before you take a shower, before you get ready for bed, after eating dinner, after the food digests somewhat, at least an hour or two, you can go ahead and start doing some squats. Nice squats in the home. Do like 5 sets or 4 sets of squats. Nothing too strenuous, but just enough to get the body to kick up the metabolism and to kind of burn the extra calories that you consumed. That in itself, once you go to sleep after doing those squats, you're going to find that you're going to wake up hungry because your metabolism would have kicked up and your body would have been searching for nutrients and processing and digesting what you consumed all night long. So that's one quick hack.
Okay. So it would be a walk and squats, or a walk or squats?
It'll be a walk or squats.
Okay.
Unless you want to be hardcore and want to do both, hey, in fact, you can go for a walk, and every 2 blocks you can stop and do some squats.
Oh, man.
Your neighbors may think you're kind of weird, or they may think that you're extremely motivated. But for right now you can do a walk.
At that time of night, man, you won't find me doing squats. I'll do the walk. I'll take a nice little calm walk, if need be. And these are things that I find myself asking, because diet, I know, is one of the key factors in losing weight. Obviously, I know you're wonderful at beating people up when they're here and making sure that they're getting their workout in and that they're not wasting their time. Yes, the value, okay? So, but he enjoys what he does, and he's good at it. I don't know if you could see it. I'm drenched with sweat right now. We just got done doing a workout. And I'm going to be documenting everything as far as the weight loss journey is concerned. I'm going to make sure to start taking notes on everything I do weekly. But this is a man that's going to make it happen. And as you can see, he's an abundance of knowledge when it comes to losing weight, especially with diet. Diet is a very big one, and I struggle with it. And it's definitely something I'm going to have to wean my way off of, because my breakfasts, I've been slowing down with what I'm eating to make sure that it's going to fall between the lines. And it's a good thing that he mentioned pancakes, because I'm a sucker for pancakes. So when he said to make sure I only do one, good thing he said it, because I was doing 3, and that's an issue. And that's not every day. That's like once a week that I do that. But still, if it's going to slow down the progress, then I would rather cut out 2 pancakes and still get the one and keep it in moderation. And that's the thing that a lot of people aren't willing to do. It's that diet, and I can't say nothing because I have struggled for many years with that issue. And me and my wife definitely have had it rough when it comes to trying to maintain that diet. So we've definitely cut a lot of things out. And Omar, I can't thank you enough for taking some time out to actually go over, some of the diets and a little hack, because I'm sure some people are going to watch this and be like, oh, okay, so I can't eat after this time. I just need to go and do like a little 5-10 minute walk, maybe 15, go down the block, come back, and especially at nighttime, if you're not in a wooded area, I could see how you wouldn't feel too worried. If you're in a wooded area, maybe the squats would be the way to go. But, that would be my recommendation, but you do what you want to do. So as far as our workouts are concerned, as of right now, I know we have it to where I'm coming in and I'm coming in 4 days a week. Now, are we going to try to increase that over time? Is that kind of where you feel like it's going to be comfortable at? We'll just work on increasing what we're doing in the time that we're here, that we have allotted together. What would be your recommendation for maybe somebody starting out? Would you recommend 1 day a week, 2 days a week? Kind of walk through what a beginner, someone who's out of weight, just trying to do a little bit better in their life. How would you walk it through?
But the best thing is, if you're just starting off and, depending on your level of fitness, but if you're a newbie, brand new to it, I recommend at least twice a week. Nothing crazy, maybe 30 minutes. The biggest thing is just getting you through that door. Just start building a habit, start establishing a discipline, and having some type of accountability factor. That's what a personal trainer is for. A personal trainer is here to kind of just hold you accountable for what it is that your goals that you set for, and to make sure that you achieve those goals. But minus having a personal trainer, as long as you have a buddy system in place would be great. They don't necessarily have to go with you to the gym, but just someone to check in and say, hey, Ben, did you go to the gym today? What did you do? Because, again, in the beginning, the hardest part is just getting to the gym. We could find a million and one excuses not to make it here. As long as you're here, that's the first step. Just go to the gym, get active. Even if you just come in and do 5 minutes on the treadmill, you just walk around and just kind of get on a couple of machines. You may not have any idea of what you're doing in the beginning, but that's okay. It's just like a little child learning how to walk. You don't sit there and yell at them and say, hey, keep your shoulders up, head back, and you don't correct them. You kind of just let them get the hang of it. And once you get better, then it's go time. So same thing, just get into the gym. And if you can't get into the gym, just start some type of activity. If it's just walking around your neighborhood, just body's in motion. And the biggest thing is just you want to create that routine. You want to create that habit. Once you create that habit, and it's no longer stressful for you to come to the gym, and you no longer sit there and say, oh my God, I don't want to have to do this. When it gets to the point where you're like, oh man, I'm so excited about going in, you're going to see the changes. The changes are going to happen, everything's going to change, and then you can really start ramping up your program. And as far as that, this is just an introductory video that we're making. You can follow Ben along his progress. We're going to tag a lot of things as we go forward. We're going to have a lot of information posted. He's a good friend of mine. He's not just a client. He was a client when he first started, but he's a good friend of mine now. So that's why he reached out to me, and I'm going to help him with this journey. And even though I'm helping him with this journey, I'm going to help you guys with the journey as well. I'm going to provide a lot of material. We're going to have a lot more podcasts. We're going to present a lot of things for you guys to follow along. And we're just going to have a lot of attachments later on as far as links that you guys can go to gather information. And, you be a part of the family, be a part of the team. Just, go ahead, make sure you follow my friend here, Ben. You comment to him, you email him, whatever it is that you need. My information will be attached later on. And, we're here to support you guys in your journey, your fitness journey. Not just his, but everyone that's paying attention, because the biggest thing is just not having a network. And you know what? That's a big band. We have a network now.
Absolutely. If you guys ever need anything, we'll make sure that we'll put in the description below where you can contact me. As of right now, his information will be added later on. But definitely, Omar has, like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge, and I definitely want to make sure that we get that to you, because my biggest thing when I started and I didn't have any guidance was, what about the diet? A lot of people seem to think that your life is over the minute they talk about doing changes or diets or any kind of modification, because I know Omar doesn't like the word diet, and I would agree. A lot of people connect diet to just a very negative emotion, and it's like, well, at some point you got to think either let's cut the word diet out and say let's modify our life so that we can upgrade our personal life. And I know when I come to the gym and I'm steady, the first maybe month or two is the hardest to try to mentally prepare yourself, because it's like, well, dang it, every time I go to the gym, you associate it with strenuous activity. And most people, when they get off of work, they've trained themselves to be like, that's my relaxed time. I don't want to kill myself on my relaxed time. And unfortunately, you want to upgrade your life, it's like you're going to have to put in the work. But we're definitely going to make sure that we give you guys as much information. I'm going to start documenting what I'm doing weekly, the progress that we're making. I know Omar is going to be there to make sure that we get all the information to you guys. I'd like to update you guys once a month or once every other month, because progress takes time. And I'm not going to rush this and then, not be able to see it through because I'm doing too radical of a change. We're going to do it little by little. We're going to do it the right way. And like Omar said, we're not going to be losing probably 20, 30 pounds in a month. But what we're doing is we're exchanging fat for muscle. And you're still going to lose weight, but you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. You're probably going to get your pants to be looser. Over time, definitely, I'm probably going to lose several pant sizes. But that's the thing. It's a trade-off. And I'm tired of feeling sluggish. I'm a big guy. I think when we weighed me, I was like, 348 pounds, something like that. And, it's tiring. There was a time when, believe it or not, I was closer to 200. So, we definitely want to get there because your quality of life definitely changes. And just coming to the gym and starting to get that routine again, I'm starting to feel much better. So everybody prepare yourselves, because this journey, we're going to be very open with you with what's going on. And like I said, this is the man, the myth, the legend that's going to be doing it not for me, but he's going to be doing it with me. And we're going to make sure to post a link to his page as well so that you guys can go there. We're also going to be working on videos on proper techniques on machines. That will be coming up too. So that way when I post what I'm doing, you can go to his page and you can be like, okay, what are these exercises that he's doing? What is the proper technique on how to do them? Because a lot of people go to the gym and they go to use these machines, but they're not doing it properly. So you're not actually getting the full benefit of these machines. And it's a shame, because if you're going to come here and you're going to really push yourself, you should be getting the full benefits of your workouts. So we're definitely going to do that. And once those videos start coming out, I'm going to start posting them underneath. I'm going to start posting those links underneath these pages. That way you guys get everything, all of the benefit from both our pages. All right. And his page is Tru Form Fitness. Like I said, we're gonna drop the link below. But anyways, Omar, did you have any last words you'd like to share with everybody?
I just want to give you guys words of encouragement. Again, it's a lifelong commitment to fitness. We have our ups and our downs. We're going to fall off. We're going to come back in, but you cannot give up. Even if you have a downtime where you say, man, like my friend said, he kind of stopped coming for a while, and he sat there and said, you know what, let me get back into it. There's no shame in coming back to it. There's no shame in just saying, taking a breather if you need to take a breather. Because it's a lifelong journey. It never ends. We're always striving for success, and the success we're striving for is just the ability to enjoy life, enjoy the quality of life on our terms. So that's what it's all about, just being healthy. It's not about the aesthetics of things. The aesthetics will come, but it's just about quality of life, being able to go out there and maybe go out for a nice jog, participate in a 5K run, or whatever it is with your loved one, your kids, your parents, or whomever. Just being active, making sure that we live to see the next iteration of whatever's to be, technology. So again, follow along with Ben. You're going to get a lot of information. There's only so much we can say per episode because it's going to stay turning through a fire hose. We don't want to do that. It's a lot of information, and it's going to be a little more streamlined as we go along. It's going to make more sense, and that's why I'd rather give you guys the attachments, and you guys will get the information and everything else from Ben. Follow along. If this is your first time in the fitness world, you guys are going to get a wealth of knowledge for free. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Omar. I appreciate the time, man. Once again, guys, this is the Reaper with the Crusade Cast. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and follow. We appreciate it. The Crusade Cast, out.